We're live. Good evening and welcome to Shed Sunday. It's been quite a while since I've done one of these. Yeah, I've been really busy with work. Things pick back up again. So as soon as the weather starts improving, we start to get busier. But yeah, great to get out to the shed for a little bit of quality time. And this evening we're going to do two things this evening. We're going to have a little look at a tinder container, off the shelf, reuse, repurpose, recycle bit of kit that you might have kicking around the house that we can use. But also at the end, I'm going to chat about the giveaway and see what I managed to source from the shed for a few things for that giveaway. So I've said I'm almost approaching 777 followers. It was never kind of the intention, but just that's a nice round number. Why not celebrate with a bit of a giveaway? So yeah, we'll get onto that later on. But first, I'm going to have a look at nothing new, nothing fancy. Classic go-to fire lighter is your cotton wool and Vaseline combo. Now, I use this an awful lot with the kids, which is fine because we're on site. It's a fixed base, so actually having these massive bits of kit, big boxes to carry around, it's not a problem. But I don't tend to use it when I'm out and about on my own because, I mean, a tub of Vaseline is quite cumbersome. I know you can get those little Vaseline, kind of like the lip treatment, the little tins. I've got one of them in a stove set, but I like kind of the concept of complete kits. Excuse me. So what we're going to look at today is how to utilize one of these little things. So if you are like me and mindful that maybe I'm not taking in as much goodness as I should be at my age, these little vitamin tabs, I think this is vitamin C, little plink fizz type things. The tubs are great, they're pretty robust, but the big bonus is on the end. Because they have the effervescent tablets in them, they need to keep them as dry as possible. So in the end there is a moisture sucker-upper, which is great for our tinders. So what we can do is we can pre-wax the pre-Vaseline the cotton balls and then whack them down in the tube. But you see the issue. I can stuff them in there. I'm only really going to be able to get to those top few ones unless I fashion some sort of tool. So why not do all of it in one? What we're going to do, I've managed to dig out from one of the drawers this little, what do they call them? A T-nut. So it's got the little teeth on it. To be fair, any nut will do. Anything that is about the diameter, maybe a little bit smaller than the tube. We'll pop it on a little bit of cordage. Just tidy up the very ends. And you could probably do this, if the cotton balls were big enough, you could probably tie the end of the cotton ball onto it. But, you know, I like the Blue Peter moments. Let's go for something a little bit more. It's fun to build, isn't it? So tying on that T-nut on the end of this bit of cordage. I've noticed I do that when I'm stopped. I'm thinking, a little theme tune. Everyone should have a theme tune. There we go. So we've now got nut on the bottom. Where do we go? That now drops down into my tub, and I fix this end onto around the lid there, so it is all combined within the kit. I've not actually tried this out yet, but in my mind, the science is sound. The logic is logical. There we go. If I now pop that in there, lid goes on, self-contained, I can now stuff that with, well, put that in first, stuff the cotton balls in, and that becomes a little block at the end. And if I need to remove more, I can pull that up, and that will drive up all my waxed Vaseline cotton wool. So here we go. Let's give it a try. Now most people are familiar with this, but not everyone is. So it'd be interesting, pop a little comment below if this is not a technique you've used or come across. It'd be handy to know. And the beauty of the Vaseline, it turns the cotton ball into a bit of a, effectively a candle. It'll burn off the Vaseline first before it burns the cotton wool. So just prolonging that little tinder ball. Yeah. Got loads on that last one, so I'm just gonna stuff some more in there. Yeah. But you can really ram quite a lot in there. Marshall Bushcraft, what's his name? Ryan Marshall, Canadian fella. You don't follow Marshall Bushcraft, he's been doing a load of little quick tips and tricks. These little shorts are really popular. Top lad, give him a follow. Yeah, I think it's just under Marshall Bushcraft. Yeah, he was rocking the Vaseline and cotton wool the other day. Well, there we go. So I'm about, I can maybe get some more in there, but let's just see. Oh, is it going to work? There we go. Cotton wool dispenser. Slide that back down there. Oh, that's gross. But practical. Gross but practical. Pop a few more in there. Now, something else we can do to just bushcraft this up a little bit further. Get them all in there. One for luck, Chris, one for luck. Pop that in. So now we have our little tinder tube. Ooh. Anyone know any way to get rid of Vaseline? Other than burning it. Not going to burn my hands off. Right, so now we've got our little tinder tube. Plenty of fires in there. But what if we wanted to just beef that up a little bit more? Let's go with a little bit of Ranger Band or inner tube. Alright, so not only are we rammed full with the Vaseline and cotton wool, but we can pop a Ranger Band on the outside just for a little bit of added oomph. So if you've not come across Ranger Band, it's just a fancy name for bicycle inner tube. So there we go, a little bit of that rubber. You can cut that up into strips. Once you've got a flame going, this is a little flame extender, fire extender, brilliant wet weather tinder. I just slide, luckily I've pre-lubed the tube. That just slides right on there. A little bit of rubber for when we need a bit more oomph to get that fire going. And guess it kind of covers up whatever ailment it was that you got the little tabs from. So there you go. Vaseline, cotton wool, dispenser. I'll just keep on testing this because, you know, as long as you don't rely on, I guess, the plastic on the lid there, and you're actually grabbing hold of the cordage, pulling that up, it'll keep on going and keep on going. That goes in there. That goes in there. And then that pops in your pack, your pocket, or wherever you need it. So, fun little make. A little bit of recycling, reusing. Hope you just slides right in. Yes, it does, Scruff. Yes, it does. Yeah, fun little make. Have a go. Useful little carry. perfect pack size, waterproof, packable, quite robust, that little tube as well, and it saves you carrying around masses of kit. So hopefully you found that useful. Hopefully you give it a go. But if you are just here for what the giveaway is all about, then, well, yeah, I wasn't really sure what to do. Yeah, I'm not minted. I'm not going to go out and buy loads of kit for a giveaway. So I thought, actually, there's probably stuff that I have that you guys might find useful. So the first thing we're going to go for is, in this envelope, is the unopened, unread. What we got here is the latest Bushcraft magazine. So a copy of that will be sent out. We have a length, actually I don't know if you can see that in the light, length of reflective paracord with a bit of a reflective trim in there. There's probably about 4 meters in there, ideal for a guy line, setting up a couple of little hang lines around your camp, just as a bit of visual aid in the night. We've got here a little kayak eye pendant thing, carved by my very own fair hand. Some of you may be aware, may not. I talk about it all the time, so you probably are. A few years back, I worked with the team that did the first descent of the Essequibo River in Guyana, and after sort of doing a bit of paddle training with them, before they left, I carved them all little individual canoes with this sort of the letter on them. And if you look at any of the kind of footage, you'll see some of them wearing my little bling out in the jungle. So I'll claim the fame there. But there you go, a little hand carved kayak. One of Huxish, I think her name is. She said, "Oh, hopefully there's a basket in there." This has been a labour of love. This coil basket took me 6 hours, maybe longer. This was it was one of those things that I thought, I'm just gonna give it a go. I tried a few before, but I had some different resources, and now, as you can see, I mean, it's quite a tough thing. There's about was that sort of 6mm cordage in there, so you fit half a dozen eggs or whatever you could use a basket for. And then finally, right, I am no master craftsman, I'm no knife maker, but when I got married, whoa, some years ago, 8 years ago this year I think, I should really know that, a full Scottish outfit. I didn't have a skiing do, so I made myself a traditional little Scottish sort of sock knife. Out of the metal was from a meat cleaver that my wife and I had when we lived out in China. For some reason, when we left, that was one of the things that we brought back with us. Eventually the handle broke and we were just left with this big sort of chunk of metal, so I used that. I managed to get 2 blades worth out of it. So for the wedding, I mounted a blade in a red deer antler, and that was kind of the final piece. But I had this other blade blank left over, and it sat in my drawer for years and years until last year. I thought, I've got to do something with that. So the shape is modelled on the Condor do a woodlore clone, but they do it in 2 sizes. So this is the smaller size. It's just a little bit too small for my hand. I'm going to do it in the other hand. That's a bit too small for my hand. The handle is a bit of birch that was again making decorations for the wedding table. We sourced a load of birch, managed to save a little bit of that. It's nothing fancy. The tools that I had weren't you know, I didn't have a massive tool shop, so most of this has been done by file or by carving. But the blade itself, I mean, if you're a master craftsman, you can probably touch it up a little bit more, but it'll feather. He says. Let's see. Yeah, it's a knife. It cuts, and with it comes my first attempt, and again, I'm no master craftsman, first attempt at a little belt sheath. So I'm going to chuck that in the prize as well. You just have to cope with the fact it does have crisp printing embossed in the top. So what did we have? We had the bowl, the knife, the kayak pendant, a little bit of reflective paracords, and a copy of the Bushcraft magazine, which might just have an article in by myself. So yes, giveaway prizes. Hopefully there's something in there that that some of you might like, and we will roll until I think there's 25-30 more subscribers to go before we hit that 777 mark. And then once we do, I'll put up a post and we'll figure out some way of selecting a winner. So yeah, thank you if you're here watching. It's great to be able to share some of the things that I get up to, some of the things that, you know, I'm fairly passionate about. My boys are sick of hearing about it, and work's just fed up of me talking bushcraft. So it's nice to have a different audience. And yeah, if there's ever anything I can do to help or advise, or even just you know, pass on some of my opinions about kit or anything, feel free to give us a shout. But for now, it's probably time for me to go in and do bedtime stories. So thank you very much, and I'll chat to you on the next one. Cheers, guys. I can never remember how to turn this off.